Today's video is about a topic that's absolutely essential if you're working with modern web apps, API gateways. That an API gateway manages requests between clients and microservices. So let's simplify this concept by comparing it to something we can all relate to, an amusing part. Imagine, so why are API gateways so crucial in modern backend system? Let's break it down. These components together make the API gateway a powerful tool for managing communication in modern apps. Hey everyone, welcome to PrepTrain YouTube channel where we help you level up your skills in tech, engineering and everything in between. I am Sahib Kumar, and if you are here to learn, grow and get practical insights into backend engineering, you have come to the right place. At PrepTrain community, we are all about making complex topics easy to understand and giving you the tools you need to succeed, whether it's landing your first internship, acing that coding interview, or building robust, scalable systems. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, be sure to stick around. Today's video is about a topic that's absolutely essential if you are working with modern web apps. API gateways. Now, you have probably heard the term before, but maybe you are wondering what exactly does an API gateway do and why is it so important? If you have ever used apps like Netflix or Uber, you have already seen API gateways in action. These gateways make sure that all the requests coming in from your app, like logging in, getting recommendations, or making payments, are handled smoothly and securely. In this video, we are going to break it all down. I will explain what an API gateway is, why it's crucial for microservices architecture, and how it simplifies communication between your app and the services it relies on. Trust me, by the end of this video, you will have a solid understanding of how it all works. Hey, if you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you never miss out on our latest videos. We have got plenty more backend engineering tips and tricks coming your way. Alright, let me bring my deck and then we will continue diving deeper into API gateways. So let's start with an introduction to API gateways and how they serve as the backbone of microservices architecture. So let's start by understanding that an API gateway manages requests between clients and microservices. Think of it this way: when you log into an app, request a ride, or stream a movie, your app is communicating with multiple backend services like authentication, recommendations, and payments. Something without to manage all those requests, things could get messy fast. This is where API gateway comes in. It's like a traffic controller for request, making sure that each request goes to the right microservices and everything runs smoothly. By acting as this central hub, the API gateway simplifies what would otherwise be a very complex network of communications. Finally, the gateway simplifies app architecture by acting as a single entry point rather than having the client interact with each individual services directly. All requests are funneled through the gateway. This reduces the complexity of the app and makes it easier to manage and scale. Now that we have introduced the basics, let's dive into a real-world analogy to make this even easier to understand. So let's simplify this concept by comparing it to something we can all relate to, an amusing park. Imagine you are at a huge park with tons of rides, food stalls, and attractions. Now, instead of wandering around trying to figure out where everything is, you stop at the information booth, right? So here is the information booth. Now, the person at the booth gives you a map, tells you where to go based on what you want to do, even helps you buy tickets. The information booth is like our API gateway. It routes requests, whether you want to log in, make payment, or get movie recommendation. And just like the booth directs you to various attractions, instead your app figuring out how to interact with every service. So the gateway steps in and handles it for you. So in this analogy, the rides, the food stalls, the attractions are all your microservices, things like login, payments, or recommendations. The gateway handles all the complexity behind the scenes, just like the information booth helps you navigate the whole park. So now that we have broken it down with this example, let's move on to discussing the key roles that API gateways plays in a microservices architecture. So why are API gateways so crucial in modern backend system? Let's break it down. First, the gateway serves as a single entry point for all client requests. This means that instead of your app communicating directly with multiple services, it communicates with just one interface, the API gateway. This simplifies your architecture and helps reduce the complexity of managing multiple services, especially when you are working with microservices. The API gateway also ensures security and handles authentication. It acts as a gatekeeper, making sure that only verified users can access certain services. This is crucial when we are dealing with sensitive data like payment information or personal details. Another key role is load balancing. Imagine you have several servers running on the same service. The API gateway can distribute incoming requests evenly across those servers, preventing any one server from becoming overloaded. This ensures that your app continues to perform well even under heavy traffic. In summary, the API gateway simplifies, secures, and optimizes your app communication with various services. And next, we will deep dive into the key components that make these roles possible. Now that we understand why API gateways are important, let's break down the key components that make them work. First is the entry point. This is the single interface that handles all the requests from the client. Your app only needs to communicate with the gateway, which then takes care of routing the request to the correct services. Then we have the reverse proxy. This component forwards requests from the API gateway to the appropriate microservices and send the response back to the client. It is crucial for streamlining communication between the client and the backend services. Next is the load balancer. This ensures that the incoming requests are evenly distributed across multiple servers running the same service. This prevents any one server from becoming overwhelmed, ensuring that your app continues to perform efficiently. Finally, there is the rate limiter. Now, rate limiter is important for controlling the flow of traffic. It limits how many requests can be sent to a service in a given time period, preventing services from being overwhelmed by too many requests. These components together make the API gateway a powerful tool for managing communication in modern apps. Next, let's take a look at some real-world use cases where API gateways are essential. Now that we understand the components and function of an API gateway, let's take a look at some real-world example where API gateways are essential. First up is Netflix. If you are a Netflix user, you know how seamless the experience feels. But behind the scene, Netflix relies on a complex architecture of microservices. For example, when you log into your Netflix account, you are sending a request for user authentication. When you browse for movies, your app is making requests to the recommendation engine. And when you start watching a show, another request is sent to the streaming service. All of this happens without you even noticing, and that's thanks to API gateway. It manages your user request and ensures that each request reaches the correct service quickly and efficiently. Another example is Uber. When you book a ride, you are interacting with multiple services, from finding driver locations, calculating fares, and processing payments, and many more things. The API gateway acts as the middleman, ensures that all these services work together seamlessly. Without the gateway, Uber would struggle to manage these interactions at scale. And the gateway helps Uber connect services like driver location, payments, ride request, making sure that everything runs smoothly for both drivers and passengers. These examples highlight how API gateways are critical for apps that rely on multiple microservices, whether it's for streaming content or booking ride, and the gateway ensures that requests are handled efficiently and securely even when millions of users are interacting with the app. Now that we have seen real-world use cases, let's summarize the key benefits of using an API gateway. Let's take a moment to recap the major benefits of using an API gateway, especially in microservices architecture. First, the API gateway simplifies communication. Instead of your app needing to interact with each individual microservice directly, the gateway acts as a single entry point, and this reduces complexity, making your architecture easier to manage and scale. Second, the gateway enhances security. It handles tasks like authentication and authorization and ensuring that only the right users can access sensitive services. This is crucial for apps dealing with personal data or financial transactions. Third, it manages traffic through rate limiting and load balancing. Rate limiting controls the number of requests sent to a service in given time frame, preventing any one service from being overwhelmed. Load balancing ensures that requests are distributed evenly across multiple servers, optimizing performance and preventing slowdowns. Lastly, it's essential for microservices architecture. In modern apps where services are broken down into smaller independent pieces, an API gateway is the glue that handles everything together. It simplifies communication, boosts security, and ensures scalability. In summary, API gateways are a powerful tool for managing backend systems, especially in apps with complex microservices architecture. They improve efficiency, security, and performance, making them a critical component for modern app development. So that's it for today's videos. I really hope you would find this breakdown of API gateways useful and it helped clear up any confusion you might have had about how they worked in a microservices architecture. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and it really helps the channel grow and reach more people like you. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our future videos. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us continue creating content that helps you learn and grow. Also, don't forget to join our Piptin Telegram community for latest updates on internships, job opportunities, and exclusive engineering content. You will find the link in the bio. We have got plenty more videos, especially on backend engineering, coming soon. So until then, keep practicing, keep learning, and I will see you in some other videos very soon.